The warrior's transformation. In a kingdom surrounded by towering mountains and vast plains, there lived a fierce and proud warrior named Arjun. Arjun was known far and wide for his skill in battle. His bravery and strength were unmatched, and his sword was said to be able to cut through anything. But despite his prowess on the battlefield, Arjun had one great weakness: his temper. Whenever Arjun was faced with adversity or insult, his rage would flare up, and he would act without thinking. His hot-headed nature often led to rash decisions, both in battle and in his personal life. While he was a fearsome warrior, his impulsive anger often clouded his judgment, and it became a source of tension within his kingdom. One day, a neighboring kingdom declared war, and Arjun was called upon to lead the army into battle. The stakes were high, and the outcome of the battle would determine the future of his people. As the day of battle approached, Arjun prepared himself by sharpening his sword and rallying his men. But deep inside, he was anxious. He knew that his tendency to lose control of his emotions could cost him dearly. The night before the battle, Arjun went to seek counsel from a wise old monk who lived on a hill near the kingdom. The monk, named Dharma, was known for his wisdom and calm demeanor. He had seen many warriors come and go, and he had helped many find inner peace. Arjun approached the monk with a troubled heart. "Master Dharma," he began, "I have always been able to defeat my enemies with strength, but I fear that my anger may lead me to make foolish decisions in the coming battle. My rage blinds me, and I do not know how to control it. What can I do?" The monk smiled gently, his eyes full of compassion. "Arjun, you are a warrior, and you have the strength to win many battles. But the greatest battle is the one you must fight within yourself. Patience and emotional control are the true weapons of a warrior. Anger may fuel you in the short term, but it will cloud your judgment and lead you to destruction." Arjun lowered his head in shame. "I know this to be true, but when I am in battle, my anger takes over, and I lose control. How can I fight with patience when everything within me urges me to strike in fury?" Dharma motioned for Arjun to sit beside him. "Let me tell you a story, one that may help you understand the power of patience and emotional control." The monk began his tale. Once, there was a river that flowed swiftly through a valley. It was powerful and untamed, crashing against rocks and carving its way through the land. But one day, a wise sage stood by the river and saw that the water was always in turmoil, never still. The sage asked the river, "Why do you rage so? Why do you crash against everything in your path?" The river replied, "I am strong, and I cannot be stopped. I rush forward with all my might, and nothing can stand in my way." The sage smiled and said, "Yes, you are powerful. But true strength is not in your speed or your force. True strength lies in your ability to remain calm and focused, no matter what obstacles come your way. Watch, and I will show you." The sage then placed a small stone in the river's path. The river roared with fury and tried to smash the stone with all its might, but it only splashed and churned around it. The sage then placed a large boulder in the river's path, and the river swirled angrily around it, still unable to move it. "You see," the sage said, "you may have all the strength in the world, but if you lose your patience and focus, you will always be defeated by obstacles. The river's power is wasted because it cannot maintain its calm. But if you can learn to flow around the obstacles with patience, you will find your true strength." The river understood the sage's wisdom and, from that day on, it moved with purpose, not with reckless fury. It still had power, but it learned to use it with patience, and it was able to flow around obstacles with ease. Dharma looked at Arjun with deep understanding. "Arjun, like the river, you have great power. But if you allow your anger to control you, you will only crash against your obstacles and lose yourself. True strength comes when you learn to remain calm in the face of adversity. Patience is the warrior's greatest ally. It is through emotional control that you will find your true power." Arjun sat in silence, reflecting on the story. He had always thought that strength was about dominating his enemies, but now he understood that true strength was about mastery over his own emotions. He realized that his anger was like the river's reckless fury. It blinded him and led him to make decisions he would regret. The next morning, Arjun led his army into battle. As the clash of swords and shields filled the air, Arjun felt the familiar surge of anger rising within him. But this time, he remembered the story of the river. He took a deep breath, grounded himself in the present moment, and allowed the anger to pass through him without acting on it. Instead of charging blindly forward, he assessed the situation, calmly directing his men and leading them with clarity. The battle was fierce, but because of Arjun's newfound patience and emotional control, his leadership was unwavering. He made strategic decisions that turned the tide in his favor, and his army emerged victorious. After the battle, Arjun returned to the monastery to thank Dharma. "Master," he said, "your wisdom has transformed me. I have learned that the true strength of a warrior lies not in his ability to defeat others, but in his ability to conquer himself." Dharma smiled and nodded. "Remember, Arjun, that every battle you face, whether in war or in life, is won with patience, emotional control, and wisdom. It is not the sword or the strength of your arms that will lead you to victory, but the strength of your mind and heart. Moral of the story: the greatest battles are not fought with swords, but within ourselves. A true warrior is one who masters his emotions, especially anger. Patience and emotional control are the keys to victory, as they allow us to make wise decisions, maintain clarity in times of crisis, and avoid self-destructive impulses. Just like a river that learns to flow calmly around obstacles, we too can find our true strength when we embrace patience and control over our emotions. Thanks for watching. If you found this video insightful, don't forget to give it a like, share it with others who might benefit, and subscribe to the channel for more valuable content like this. Hit the bell icon so you never miss an update. See you in the next video.